Hello. I'll show you my face this video. It's gonna be like the last one about the Matrix. Uh, the Matrix movie is eh, they gave an idea, but it's not the real deal. Uh, it's a movie, you know, and the physical, the fighting, all that is not the Matrix. The Matrix is more manipulation, and in the Matrix in the movie they tried to manipulate Neo. They tried to manipulate the people that were free and to get them to reveal themselves. And they got the one guy to be like a rat and expose them. And he manipulated them with food uh, and stuff like that. So that part I'd say is true about the Matrix. The manipulation is there. You're manipulated every day when you go to work and you have to spend all your time worrying about work stuff, and you can't worry about your family, you can't worry about your kids, you can't worry about anything else but work stuff. Otherwise, you lose your job, and you work. You're supposed to work about 8 hours a day, and many people work much more than that, and they spend a lot of their time commuting back and forth from the office, or which is why people like working from home. Uh, but even working from home, they made sure you worked. You didn't sit on the couch all day and do nothing. Uh, Maybe some of you did and you got lucky, but those roads have short endings, and you can do that for so long, but there's a price to pay. And you know, even the boss, who you might feel has a easier schedule, he does not, and he might appear to, but he does not. He's under a lot of pressure. He has to produce. He has to. He takes. He takes the flack when you screw up. He takes the flack when the profits are down and the expenses are up. So he has a lot different. You have things to worry about, and so does he, or she. And you know, uh, Mrs. Agent Smith. All the ones that look alike. They all looked alike, and they were carbon copies of each other. And and you're like that. Because if you look at people, they're really not much different than each other. If you look at people in general, I mean, we can we can discern and tell that they're different. I don't look like anybody you've ever seen, probably today, other than my picture right now. Uh, but I'm sure you could find somebody that has a crew cut and glasses. And, I mean, it's not really that different. So, but when I deal with people, it's more like Agent Smith in the sense of the mentality. Uh, the brainwashing and stuff, I can see clearly when I speak to people, and I don't really speak to a lot of people because it's very difficult for me to speak to people on a one-to-one basis and stuff because I don't get into small talk. I don't care about the weather. I get kind of pissed off that a lot of the news channels spend their whole day showing a weather map on the screen, and they do that because they don't want to report real news, because real news is dangerous. Real news pisses off people and is not effective and not helpful for the Matrix. So that's why they don't do it. And they'll play the same story over and over and over all day. And it'll be a benign story, a shooting, a fire. Um, you know, they, they they really don't do investigative reporting where they would go, well, not necessarily undercover, but it was like undercover. They would go into different countries and report on things going on there and stuff, and sort of like a front line kind of thing. And they don't really do that anymore. Maybe it's because of the internet, but I think it's because of the Matrix. Matrix doesn't want you to know, and what the Matrix doesn't want you to know, you don't know. And there's a saying, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know, and they want to keep it that way. That's why they don't like me because I'm telling you what you don't know. Uh, you know, uh, but once you see something, you can't unsee it. You know, and I'm trying to teach you how to see the matrix. It's right in front of you. I'm on it right now. I'm on it, but I'm not controlled by it, and I'm not in it. You are, but I'm not in it. Uh, I do what I want. I live how I want. I eat what I want. I come and go as I please. I don't answer anybody, and it's just and the matrix the, doesn't control my life, which it controls yours. Try not to go to work tomorrow and see what happens. Try not to go to school, see what happens. Uh, don't feed your kids, see what happens. You're controlled all day long, and the food you eat is controls you. A lot of it has addictive chemicals in it to get you to buy more. And why is Starbucks so popular? Because caffeine is so addictive, and a lot of there are other things I'm sure have chemicals in it that's addictive as well. And tastes good, but it's addictive. Crack is good too, but it's addictive. And it's dangerous. So it's just the matrix is all encompassing. It's all around you. It's everywhere. And like Agent Smith, people that you talk to are agents of the matrix, and people that you work with are angels, agents of the matrix. And uh, I'm more of a Neo, where I'm not an agent of the matrix. I'm trying to break the matrix, and I'm not trying to break the matrix. I did break the matrix, and I'm a glitch. I'm a glitch in the matrix, and it's just when you want to leave the matrix, and if you ever figure out how to leave the matrix on your own, it's a solo trip. It's a solo. You can't bring your wife. You can't bring your kids. Uh, you can't bring any of your coworkers or your family members. It's a solo trip. It's like when you die, you don't take the money with you. You go in the casket by yourself. Well, when you leave the matrix, you go by yourself, and all the other people, your family, your boss, your teacher, whatever that's in your life, your parents. It's more like the crab in the bucket scenario. When the crab gets close to getting out of the bucket, they all pull him back into the bucket. All the other crabs pull him back in the bucket, and that's what your relatives and your friends and your boss and your teachers and classmates. That's what they're the crabs in the bucket, and as soon as you get close to getting out, they'll pull you back in. They'll pull you back in, and you have to fight that. And I'm sure the first time you try to get out, they're going to do that, and you have to have, and you can't be discouraged. There's one thing you can't do if you're trying to escape the matrix. You can't give up. You cannot give up because the matrix doesn't give up. And if you give up, and that's the whole modus operandi of the matrix, is it wants you to give up. It wants to make you give up, just like the crabs in the bucket. They want to stop that crab from trying to get out by constantly pulling it back in, and eventually it'll stop trying to get out. And that's what the matrix does. And it's this is the red pill and the blue pill scenario. Do you want to continue on? Do you want to escape? uh, do you want to be free? Do you want to help other people be free? uh, you know um, and in the beginning, it's scary. It's you don't know much. You don't know what to expect. It's kind of like uh, getting in a boxing ring for the first time. You figure you're going to get pummeled. and you may or may not. But the fear in your brain, the brain is what's the real problem, and what you think. And if you think you're going to lose, I would pretty much count on you losing. But if you think you're going to win, you could win. And if you think you're going to break free from the matrix, you can break free. You can. You definitely can. But like I said, I don't think a lot of you want to do what you have to do to break free. It's like the bird in the cage. If you open the door for the bird in the cage, the bird will stay in the cage. He's not going to come out. And if he comes out, he's going to go on top of the cage. And if you leave him there, eventually he'll go back in the cage. He's not gonna fly away. And he knows where his food is. He knows where it's safe. He doesn't know what the outside world is about. Uh, can't survive in the outside world if he did. He doesn't know that, but he's content with being in the cage and being home. It's like when wild birds, their nest is a hole in the tree or something, and that's home, and they don't see it as a cage. And your bird doesn't see the bird cage as a cage. It sees it as home, you know. And you see the matrix, being in the matrix, as being home, So it's very difficult for you to want to leave home, and it's. I know I've said this 1,000 times before. Who doesn't try to escape prison? And the answer is whoever doesn't know they're in prison. And you don't know you're in prison. You don't know you're in the matrix. You don't know you live in a box. And anytime you come close to realizing you live in a matrix or a box, there was a wall put up. There was a deterrent put up.